Who invited you to this podcast?
I invited myself. Whom did you expect?
That is a confident opening, and annoyingly, you used whom correctly.
I did. But the useful question is not whether whom sounds fancy. It is whether the person is doing the action or receiving it.
Good. So we are not beginning with a grammar courtroom where someone bangs a dictionary and declares a winner.
No courtroom required. Think of who as the person performing an action and whom as the person receiving it, or the person connected to a preposition, such as to, for, with, or from.
That sounds manageable.
It is, until the sentence gets longer, more formal, or slightly sneaky.
Give us the clearest possible example.
Who called you? The answer might be, he called me. Since he is doing the calling, the question uses who.
And if I ask, whom did you call?
The answer is, I called him. The person receives the action of called. Because him is an object pronoun, traditional formal grammar prefers whom.
So the first pair is, who called you? He called me. Whom did you call? I called him.
Exactly. That gives us the most useful test, the he or him test.
Walk us through it as if we are checking a sentence under pressure.
Replace the word with he, she, or they. If that works, use who. Replace it with him, her, or them. If that works, traditional grammar prefers whom.
Who is waiting outside?
She is waiting outside. So, who is correct?
Whom did Maria invite?
Maria invited them. That points to whom.
Here is where people get tangled. Long sentences. They see a phrase like, do you think? And lose track of the real verb.
Right. Consider, who do you think won the competition? Some learners notice you think and assume the person is an object, but the person is the subject of won. The hidden sentence is, he won the competition.
So the traditional form is, who do you think won the competition?
Yes. Follow the role in the clause, not just the word sitting closest to who or whom.
Let's reverse the structure.
Whom do you think the judges selected? Here, the judges perform the action. The person receives it. The hidden answer is, the judges selected him. That is why traditional grammar uses whom.
I like the idea of finding the hidden sentence. It makes the grammar less mysterious.
It does. Ask yourself, who did what? If the person did the verb, choose who. Ask, whom did someone do something to? If the person received the action, whom may be right in formal English.
Let's put this into an ordinary situation. Suppose I am at work and need to send a document. I ask, to whom should I send it to?
That is formal and traditionally correct because whom follows the preposition to.
But most people would probably say, who should I send it to?
Yes, and that sounds completely natural in everyday conversation. English changes with context. Whom remains useful in formal writing, official letters, academic work, and careful public speech. In casual conversation, who is very common, even where traditional grammar would prefer whom.
So if I say, with whom are you going to the concert? Nobody can accuse me of being grammatically wrong.
Grammatically, no. Socially, someone might ask why you suddenly sound like a 19th century butler.
A risk I am willing to take.
In ordinary conversation, who are you going to the concert with? Sounds much more natural. In formal writing, with whom are you attending the concert is appropriate. Or you can rewrite it. Who is your concert partner?
That last version avoids the issue completely.
And rewriting is an underrated strategy. If a sentence sounds stiff, Make it clearer instead of forcing a choice between who and whom. The goal is communication, not displaying a tiny grammar trophy.
Let's practice a few preposition examples.
To whom it may concern.
For whom is this gift?
With whom did you travel?
From whom did you receive the email?
In casual English, those often become, who is this gift for? Who did you travel with? And who did you receive the email from?
The meaning stays the same, but the style changes.
Exactly. In formal English, the preposition often stays before whom. In casual English, it may move to the end. That is sometimes called a stranded preposition, but the name is more intimidating than the idea.
Who did you speak to?
A perfectly normal sentence.
And the more formal version is, to whom did you speak?
Both communicate the same idea. One sounds conversational, the other sounds more polished or official.
Let me test a common mistake. Whom is calling?
That is not formal. It is simply incorrect. The person is doing the calling, so the sentence should be, who is calling?
The answer would be, he is calling.
Exactly. Do not use whom randomly just because it sounds more sophisticated. Sophistication is not the same as accuracy.
So for a learner, the practical rule is, use who naturally in everyday speech, and learn whom well enough to recognize and use it in formal situations.
That is a sensible approach. Modern English accepts who in many informal questions and sentences. Who did you invite is extremely common. Traditional formal grammar would prefer whom did you invite, because the answer is I invited her.
But who invited you is different.
Yes, the answer is she invited me. The person is performing the action, so who is correct in both formal and casual English.
Same two words, different grammatical jobs.
Precisely.
Relative clauses create another layer. Consider, she is the woman who organized the event.
The woman organized the event. She performs the action, so we use who.
Now, she is the woman whom I met at the event.
The hidden sentence is, I met her. I perform the action, and the woman receives it. Whom is the traditional formal choice.
Compare these. The man who helped me was kind. The man whom I helped was kind.
In the first sentence, the man helped me. In the second, I helped the man. The direction of the action changes the pronoun.
There is also a shorter version. The man I helped was kind.
Yes. English often leaves out an object relative pronoun. You can say the person I called instead of the person whom I called.
That sounds natural and avoids a formal construction.
It does. But be careful not to leave out who when it is the subject. The person called me has a different meaning from the person who called me.
The first means I called the person. The second means the person called me.
Exactly. A small grammar difference can create a large difference in meaning.
Let's pause on that, because it is easy to memorize drop the pronoun and then drop the wrong thing.
If the relative pronoun is receiving the action, it can often disappear. The colleague I thanked. But if it is doing the action, keep who. The colleague who thanked me.
So we ask the same question again. Who performed the verb?
Yes. The test keeps returning because it is genuinely useful, not because grammar teachers enjoy repetition.
What about whoever and whomever? They sound like the advanced level of this puzzle.
They follow the same subject-object idea, although they are less common in casual speech. Whoever arrives first can choose a seat. The person arrives first, so whoever is the subject.
And give the ticket to whomever you choose?
In formal grammar, whomever is the object of choose. You choose that person.
Yet many speakers say, give the ticket to whoever you choose.
They do, and that version is widely used. The important thing is to understand the structure, notice the formal pattern, and choose a style that fits your audience.
Let's do a quick challenge. Who did you invite to dinner?
Traditionally formal, whom did you invite to dinner? The answer is, I invited her. But the version with who is extremely common in conversation.
Who invited you to dinner?
Who is correct because the answer is, she invited me.
For whom did you buy the flowers?
Formal and correct. I bought them for him.
Who did you buy the flowers for?
Casual and natural. Same meaning, different style.
Whom do you trust?
Formal traditional grammar. I trust him.
Who do you trust?
Very common in modern speech, especially in informal contexts. Many speakers and writers accept it.
So the real question is not simply who is correct and whom is wrong.
Right. Ask two questions. What is the grammatical role? And what style do you need?
In a legal document or polished business letter?
Whom may be the better choice.
In a text message or friendly conversation?
Who will usually sound more natural.
What if someone is taking an exam that tests traditional grammar?
Use the he or him test. Who or whom did she call? She called him, so traditionally, whom. Who or whom called her? He called her, so who.
And who or whom are they talking about?
They are talking about him. Formal grammar prefers whom, but everyday English usually says, who are they talking about?
That distinction is useful. Know the formal answer without assuming everyone speaks that way all the time.
Exactly. Grammar knowledge should give you choices, not anxiety.
Let's clear up 3 words learners sometimes mix together. Who, whom, and whose.
Who asks about a person? Whom asks about a person as an object? Whose asks about possession?
Who is at the door?
Whom did you invite?
Whose jacket is this?
And do not confuse whose with whose. Whose is short for who is or who has.
Who's coming means who is coming.
Whose bag is this asks who owns the bag. One small apostrophe, one very different meaning.
Let's imagine someone writing a formal email. Who should I contact regarding my application?
That sentence is clear and perfectly natural. If the writer wants a more formal style, they could write, whom should I contact regarding my application?
Or rewrite it as, which person should I contact?
They could, although that sounds less direct. In most situations, who should I contact is probably the best choice.
So simpler is not automatically less professional.
Correct. Precise language is often better than complicated language.
What about the familiar opening, to whom it may concern?
That fixed expression is still widely used. It means the letter is intended for the appropriate person, even though the writer does not know that person's name.
But if you know the name?
Use it. Dear Miss Calder is warmer and more specific than to whom it may concern.
That is a broader writing lesson. Specific language often feels more thoughtful than a formal phrase used by habit.
Exactly. Formal does not have to mean distant.
Let's build a short workplace exchange using both forms. Who is leading the project?
The project manager is leading it.
Whom did the director choose as assistant?
The director chose the new coordinator.
Who should I send the schedule to?
Send it to the office administrator. That question is completely natural in casual speech.
And the formal version?
To whom should I send the schedule?
Same practical request, different register.
Here's another pair. Who helped prepare the presentation? The answer might be, the design team helped.
And whom did the design team help?
The answer could be, they helped the project lead. The design team performs the action. The project lead receives it.
This is much easier when we stop staring at the pronoun and picture the action.
Yes. Imagine an arrow. Who sends the arrow?
who receives it. That mental picture can be more helpful than memorizing labels.
Time for a listener challenge. Complete this sentence. Blank sent you that message.
The answer is who. Who sent you that message? The person performs the action.
Second, blank did you invite?
Traditionally, whom? Whom did you invite? You invited him or her. In everyday conversation, who did you invite is also very common.
Third, the teacher blank explained the rule was helpful.
The teacher who explained the rule was helpful. The teacher explained the rule, so who is the subject?
Fourth, the teacher blank, I thanked, smiled.
Traditionally, the teacher whom I thanked smiled, but the teacher I thanked smiled is more natural for many speakers.
And one final challenge. Blank are you waiting for?
Formal grammar prefers whom are you waiting for? Ordinary conversation usually uses who are you waiting for?
If you chose different answers depending on context, that is not confusion. That is language awareness.
Exactly. You are noticing both grammar and real usage.
Let's summarize the whole lesson in 4 short lines.
Who is the subject? The person doing the action.
Whom is traditionally the object, the person receiving the action or following a preposition.
Try replacing the word with he or she. If that works, use who.
Try replacing it with him or her. If that works, traditional grammar prefers whom.
And in casual English, who is often more natural, even where whom is technically formal.
Let's finish with a short shadowing exercise. Repeat each line aloud.
Who called you?
She called me.
Whom did you call?
I called her.
Who is coming with us?
Who are you talking to?
To whom should I address the letter?
The person who helped me was kind.
The person I helped was grateful.
So, do you actually know the difference between who and whom now?
You do. And you know something more useful as well. Grammar depends on both structure and situation.
Ask yourself, is the person doing the action or receiving it? And am I speaking casually or writing formally?
If the person is doing the action, choose who. If the person is receiving it, whom may be the formal choice.
But never be afraid of natural English. Who did you speak to is clear, common, and friendly.
And to whom did you speak is formal, polished, and useful in the right setting.
If a sentence feels awkward, rewrite it. Clear English matters more than showing off.
Exactly. You do not need to force whom into every sentence, and you do not need to avoid it when the situation calls for formal language.
Think of who and whom as tools. Use the one that fits the job, the audience, and the tone.
And if you remember only one shortcut, remember this. He means who. Him means whom.
Although, in daily conversation, who may still be the smoother choice.
Yes. Language is not a museum display. It is something people use, adapt, and understand together.
Which means the best sentence is usually the one that is both accurate and easy to understand.
That is the heart of it. Know the traditional distinction. Recognize modern usage, and choose deliberately rather than nervously.
Thanks for listening. And until next time, keep asking the right questions. Whether the answer is who, whom, or simply, it depends.